Good evening. Welcome to another Drama is Life, where we talk about mental health and social topics across the lifespan from past, present to future. Hello, I am your host, Theresa White. I am the founder and CEO of In Time Creative Counseling Services, located here in Terre Haute, Indiana, where we offer in person and virtual services for adolescents, adults, and families. We offer the expressive arts, or what we would call creative arts, particularly drama therapy, which includes music, expressive writing or creative writing, as some people may call it. We do movement, dance, and of course, theater type activities, drama. So we do that to help people to reach their goals for mental and behavioral health. But we are here with another topic. If you want more information about our services, please reach out to us during our regular business hours. We are open Sunday through Thursday. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you have at that time. So, does anybody know what time it is? Do you know what today is? No, it's not the anniversary. No, the song says that. But it's, the holiday season, right? And so last podcast we talked about, our last episode, we talked about the empty chair, and we're talking about grief and the holidays with regards to Thanksgiving. So tonight, I want to have a conversation and help anyone who may um, still be having some struggles with the holiday. I do want to let you know that anything that we talk about on our blogs, lives, podcasts are not to replace a therapy session. This is information only. Hopefully, you can use it to help you or someone that you love to get into a better place, or to realize if you are needing some additional services, then that's what we are here to be able to help with that. Um, or help you connect to somebody who can help you if it's not us. And that's okay either way. So, with that being said, I want to pick up where we left off, but kind of give a different spin to our topic. So, for those of you who are not already, if you have not liked our page, subscribed, followed, please do that and share so that people can get the information as well. This is something that I do for the community because I definitely want to increase awareness and decrease the stigma of mental health in our community, particularly among African American and faith based communities. So, tonight we're going to talk about asking all them questions. And I'm going to piggyback off of the song that says, asking all them questions. Asking all them questions. Why are you asking all them questions? Making statements. Right. I know the next line, assuming. And I say that because when we talk about, you know, empty chair, part two, we're going to have a conversation a little bit different than with regards to the loss of a loved one in death. So, what are some questions that people may ask you, family members, friends may ask you with regarding the holiday, right? So think about, again, piggybacking off of Emmanuel's song that starts with who, you've been where, with who. And I say that because sometimes they're asking, you're going where? With who? You're not coming to our house. You're not going to grandma's. You're not going to grandpa's and aunts, uncles. You're going where? With who? And sometimes those questions, or the thought that those questions are going to come up, brings anxiety for people or brings up different emotions. And people struggle with the questions that are going to come up for the holiday or for them around their loved ones regarding the holiday. And sometimes people are wanting to, we talked about last episode with regards to avoiding, right? Sometimes, it's kind of hard to not realize that somebody's missing here, right? And we can talk around it. We can act like it's not an issue, but it is. But it is, you all. And so I want to bring that conversation to you, and feel free to ask questions, as the topic is asking all them questions, or also make comments with regards to our topic on tonight. Love to hear feedback so that um, I can get a chance to respond to you, our audience members. And I know that sometimes you may have to think about it. If you're somebody like me, I like to, once I hear it, then the questions come or then thoughts come. That's okay too. You can always come back to our videos and also ask questions, questions at that time. And I definitely will look at our comments. I'll respond. If I see those comments or questions, I come back and I respond to those as best as we can. So we don't just leave you hanging on the comment section. So if you say hello to us, we will say hello back. So hello to all those who are joining. Hello. Thank you for joining. And I'm going to shift as you guys are coming in. So I want you just to, I'm going to shift so you can be able to see while hello, change my chair because it's doing something funky, y'all. Made me feel like I was a little bit short. But hello, I'm back. Never went anywhere. But so with regards to the topic of asking, all them questions, I'm going to just talk about myself. Sometimes when the holidays come up, especially if you have been someone that has experienced anxiety, that sometimes the prep for it brings anxiety as well. And sometimes the question is, with who, right? You come into, even if it's like this, again, as the song said, where, who. So say I'm coming to your house. So you're telling the family member, yes, I'm going to come to your house and enjoy family and friends with with your meals and whatever, right, with you. And they may be saying, I'm gonna bring, can I bring someone? With who? You coming with who? So again, for real? Oh, really? And then it's like, well, if I can't bring that person, then I don't want to come. Oh, really? That's how you feel? And so, with piggybacking off of some of the lyrics, I say that because we're going to talk about tonight the empty chair with regards to relationships and the changes that come with relationships. Because sometimes people, we think about, we know that we expect the empty chair. Even though it's difficult, it's hard with our loved ones that have passed away, but that's the chair that we expect to be empty. We anticipate that grandma, grandpa, cousin, aunt, uncle, whoever it may be, brother, sister, whoever this person is that has passed away recently or within this year, that is something that, like, okay, I anticipate that they're not going to be there. And as painful as we talked about last episode, that's painful. And we're not taking away from that. Yet there are some other things that people are avoiding when it comes to the holidays with regards to loss. Sometimes there's a loss and change in people's lives, and they get questions about it. And those questions can be uncomfortable. Those questions can be scary. They can bring up a lot of things. And so, as we talk about empty chair number 2, or part 2 today, I want you to think about some questions that you may get. And I hear this, as I think about even, family members or when you go visit people, friends, some of the questions that come up, as you are getting older. Sometimes they're not questions. Sometimes they're statements. Oh, okay, you didn't gain a little weight. Or you didn't gain a lot of weight. Oh, really? That's how you feel? So that's why we're using the play with the song. And I definitely, give credit to him with his lyrics. But I definitely think that's how people feel. I don't want to deal with the comments that I may get because maybe I put on, maybe this year, maybe you haven't seen me since COVID started, and I put on more than the freshman 15 or the COVID 20. Maybe I've lost more than freshman 15 or the COVID 20. And with losing or gaining, people typically comment about your body, your figure, what you look like. And I mean, family can run you from head to toe. If your hair has changed, we got questions. Well, what happened? What do you mean what happened? I have braids, or I cut my hair, or now it's long, or maybe I want to wear a wig. Maybe I don't have any hair. Whatever the change may be that's happening, there's a change. And sometimes when people announce it in front of everybody, because sometimes, but not sometimes, family has a really good way of bringing the attention to you in front of everybody at the time that you don't want attention to you. You're just coming in trying to hang your coat up. Hello, hello, good evening, everybody. Good to see you. Nice to see you, cousin. I'm whoever else. And it's somebody in the room that has to make an announcement about the color you have on and how it looks on you. Whether you have an extra roll and what that looks like. And so with that, sometimes those are some of the questions that come up. And so you're thinking, okay, well, I'm concerned that I don't want to answer that in front of everybody about why I look bigger than I did last year, or why I look smaller than I did last year. And don't get me wrong, sometimes people are thinking it's a great thing for you to, oh, you look good, you lost a lot of weight. Again, it depends on the person, because body image is really a struggle for a lot of people that family members don't recognize. And we're not going to talk about body image. That's a very different topic for a different episode, and we will deal with that another time. But I want you to be aware that comments about body, whether the person thinks it's positive or not, may not always be positive to the person if they don't want attention in front of everybody, family and friends, and sometimes we got guests present as well, right? Then we don't want attention drawn to that. And I say that as a transparent moment for those who work with me. There's some things that happens in medically, and people will start to comment about it. So say maybe somebody had a fall or something, and they come in with well, what happened, and again, in front of everybody, I don't want to talk to you about my medical issues, my medical concerns. And I've been in that seat, right? I've been in the seat. And sometimes, and with regards to, we talk about the empty chair, sometimes the empty chair in two folds, we're talking about part 2, so we're going to hit on 2 points with the empty chair today. Sometimes the empty chair is the love that is still present or alive, just not at visiting with the family. They're not there for various reasons. Maybe they're not there because they don't want all the questions. Maybe they're not there because they don't want the attention, because so much change has happened with their body. And maybe they don't want people to acknowledge or point out that they've gained weight or lost a lot of weight, or that they look lighter or darker, or, their hair's different, whatever changes they have made. Maybe they don't want people to announce that in front of family members. Now, of course, you may have your close family members, your cousins, or whoever that you may talk to that know about, they stay in contact and they stay connected, and so they know about the changes that are happening in your life. But of course, those are the same ones that are not going to announce it because they know about it. Hey, Theresa, hey, yeah, there was some new shoes. I finally got some new shoes, huh? Again, we think it's positive, and the intent can be positive. And one of my colleagues at the conference that I just came from a few weeks ago, brought out a really good point. We talked about something particularly different, but she brought out a point and said impact or intent is not the same as impact. I can intend to compliment you, but the impact may be that you embarrass me in front of everybody because you made it seem like I don't ever have any new shoes, because you announced the fact that I have on new shoes. And you thinking, oh, I just thought your shoes were nice and they were pretty or whatever. But the announcement in front of everybody, because you have just had me come to you and you said, oh, those shoes are really nice. Where do you get those from? I say that because, again, there's questions come up for holidays. And sometimes the empty chair are the people in our families that struggle with answering all them questions. They don't want to be in the hot seat of you embarrassing them in front of family or guests or both. So they decide, I'm just not going to show up. And then you're like, well, you don't never come to the things. Why don't you show up? Why? We haven't seen you in years. We haven't. And again, sometimes it's because of the questions. Sometimes it's because of the questions that are not asked. Sometimes there are things that are happening in people's lives, and we talk about secrets, and we're not going to get into, again, different live podcast for a different time. But sometimes there are, again, family secrets that can leave a chair empty because people are like, I don't want to deal with those questions. I don't want to deal with the questions in my mind. Because sometimes the questions are not always outward that we're trying to avoid, that we're trying to get away from. Sometimes the questions are here. The questions are, why did that happen? And why is nobody not saying anything? And does not, do you not know? Do you know? You just not saying anything? Or and you can't ask it outright in front of everybody because again, everybody's here and we're in front of guests. And even when people are not, again, there's a family protocol that each family has, that they know their own family protocol. And so sometimes it's like I can't say anything. And so instead of to deal with the emotion, to deal with the feelings that I'm having or the thoughts that are going on in my mind, even though I'm smiling at you, you don't know what questions or issues are happening in my mind. So how about I just avoid it and be the empty chair this year? I'd rather just sit at home and not have to deal with your questions. And I'm not saying this an excuse, or now I'm saying excuse is not the word I want to use. I'm not saying that it's always great for the other family members to miss out in the person who's not going. I just want to bring light to the fact that there are reasons that we're not considering, or maybe we're not asking the real reason or wanting to hear the real reason on why someone may decide to be your empty chair or one of your empty chairs this year. And sometimes it's not about family. Sometimes it's not that they're doing anything negative or you know, are friends or guests. Sometimes it's just the avoidance of wanting to be seen with the change that has taken place. And let me give an example. We talked about last episode with regards to grief and Thanksgiving. So say I always showed up with my sibling, and now my sibling is deceased, and now I got to show up without my sibling. So it's not necessarily about the family asking questions or, um, embarrassing somebody. Sometimes it may be, I don't want to face the fact that I'm going to walk in the door alone. I'm going to walk in the door without my sibling that I used to always come with. I made the macaroni, they made the greens. Now that dish is missing. And so people struggle, as we talked about last episode, people struggle with the reality that there's going to be an empty chair. And so sometimes we'll try to talk around it and those kind of things. But I want you to know that as we talked about these questions, I want to help you to answer them, help you to prepare. So for those that like, I really want to be around my family, I just don't know how to deal with all these questions. So I want a way to help, especially when I'm working with somebody with anxieties. Let's think of the worst case scenario. Let's take it there. Go away. They're going to ask you 25,000 questions, put you in the middle of the room, have everybody like stop talking, look at you and start asking you questions. That sounds ridiculously scary for somebody who has anxiety, especially when they come into family. So I'm just saying that's worst case scenario. Say that's worst case. We say, okay, well, let's say that happens. What questions will they fire at you? And this is kind of how we use drama therapy to help people to prepare for the worry, prepare for what they think will happen, but to also prepare to have a plan and to decrease that anxiety. So when we start to move through our worries, then we can decrease them. And I won't get off on that, but I hope it makes sense to you all. So say we put a chair in the middle of the room and we say, let's enact that. Let's put that in action. And what questions will come up? And so the person may write down, and you can do this at home as well, 5 questions. Okay. They may ask me about, do I miss my sibling? They may ask me, can I make the greens as good as they did? They may, I don't know, whatever the questions are that person may feel like would come up that would cause a response that they may not want emotionally to happen on this holiday where they're trying to come in and have a good time with family, friends, and etc. So as we go down the list, let's ask the questions. Because one of the questions should seriously be like, hello, Theresa, how are you? And sometimes that can sound like a very simple question, as we've talked about in our previous episodes, but it can be an anxiety provoking question because how do I answer that? Am I honest? If I'm really like, you know what, my neck hurt, my back hurt, my ankle hurt, and it doesn't, but I'm just saying it. Say that's what I really want to say, but I don't. I'm gonna just say, I'm fine. It's what we talked about. And I'm gonna grab, I'm fine. Let's hide behind it. So I'm gonna just tell you I'm okay. Yet, and it's okay as family members, again, ask somebody how they are, but let's make sure that we are doing it. Let them put their coat up, let them greet you, and then you can motion them over to you. If you want to ask them something that may provoke a depth of a question, and I say depth, which means that it may not be your general, I'm fine. It may be I'm really hurting because my sibling's not here. It feels odd, and I'm only going to be here for a few minutes, you know. So, and being okay, again, other family members, well, what you mean you're going to be here for 5 minutes? You know, what you mean? With who? You know, again, question. Sometimes you like, coming here in the first place took a lot, and I do mean a lot of energy, a lot of mental strength, a lot of physical fortitude just to get me to come into this door. Please don't try to make me feel guilty if I don't want to stay for 12 hours. I just want to hang out for maybe say hi to everybody. I may get a plate, may not. I just wanted to make sure that I showed my face. That's huge. And enjoy people's company while you have them. If we haven't learned anything from the loss or grief, we hopefully have learned that redeeming the time, making sure that we are appreciating people while they're here. Not trying to guilt them. Will you leave it? No. I get that sometimes we can be hurt because we want them to stay around longer, like grief, right? That's what happens. But tell them thank you for showing up when they are there. It's so good to see you, Theresa. I'm so glad that you're here. It's so nice to be able to see you. And then hope you enjoy it. Make you a plate, make your rounds or whatever people may say, right? Sometimes less is more. As we've learned that. Sometimes less is more. So how are you doing? And they give you a smiling eye. I'll call you later, right? We can do those kind of motions when we know as a family, like I'll talk to you later about it, right? If the person doesn't want to talk in open. Second part of the empty chair where these other questions can come up is what if this is the chair of a relationship that has shifted and changed? And it may not be, and we talked about with death, that definitely can be the case. But what if it's just the loss of the relationship? And family doesn't know that just yet. Maybe family is not aware that you was dating Tommy, back in, 4th of July, Tommy was with you, and now you're about to show up for Thanksgiving and Tommy's not there. And they're like, hey, where's Tommy? Tommy didn't come with you? And you're like, no. Right? And so now it puts that person on the spot where everybody's looking. And those are the questions that people are avoiding. That's why they become the empty chair. The empty chair one fold is them that are trying to avoid the question, your family member, your loved one. The second one is the relationship of the person that's not there. And it's not a great feeling. I don't know anybody who walked in like it's just holiday, a person who, if they are no longer dating this person or with this person, and then somebody announces it out loud in front of everybody. And again, intent may not be what you meant. I get that, but intent and impact are different. You may have intended to be like just being fun and in the moment of, eggnog and alcohol and all the things that can happen on the holidays and it just blurted out of your mouth. But there's also times that what happens when it's I didn't want that announced. Like you just embarrassed me in front of everybody. So now I gotta say, me and Tommy are no longer together. What? What happened? I thought I was going down the aisle. I thought I was. And so you're like, no, right? So people as loved ones at times, and we all have been guilty. We can just pack it on, right? So take it, read the room, as people say, read the room. if you see my face is not really comfortable talking in front of everybody about how me and Tommy are not together anymore, how about we not keep asking questions about, well, I just knew that y'all was gonna go down the aisle and be married. I just knew that he was gonna propose on Christmas. We had a bet going up. And I'm not trying to make this funny or light by any means, but I'm telling you, this is what happens and why people have empty chairs. And again, because family is, purposely embarrassing somebody. But the person already has feelings about not being there with Tommy or their sibling or whoever they would have walked in the door with, their friend. Maybe they bring their friend all the time, and now them and their friend just had a fight, and okay, well now they're not coming with me. You know, you're like, oh, where's so and so? I thought Tasha was usually with you everywhere. No, she didn't come this time. What happened? And again, asking very personal questions in a very open. And yes, we're maybe family and friends, but there also may be guests there, or certain family members you don't want to talk in front of, or you just don't want to talk about it at all. So when you say, like, how do I answer that? You can just prep, because people are going to be people. We all have done it, where it's like, oh, I'm supposed to say that. I'm sorry, right? Somebody may say, hey, what's going on? Where's so and so? I came by myself today. Or you can just answer and say, no, they're not present. And you can be honest. I prefer not to talk about that in front of everybody right now. No, that sounds scary, I know. Sometimes you have to be honest and just shut it down, or you're going to get a lot more questions and a lot more shifting of attention. When it's like, you can just say, you can do a hand motion. Oh, I thought about it. And then, oh, okay, I got you. And again, family, you can know the cues of like, okay, oh, you don't want, okay, next, right? Or, if you slide, you may, hey, Tony, what you got over there? You got some great, and you funnily, in a very, as I said, funnily, my new word, y'all. In a humorous way, you have changed the subject and shifted the conversation. Or you can compliment something that they have. And I know that seems like that's funny, but it actually is helpful. Oh, I really like, say it's a uncle, I don't know, who's saying like, what happened to Tommy? Why is he not there? Or where, I thought y'all was going. Oh, I really like your jacket today. Or and you start complimenting somebody else or talking to somebody else, where it's like, you can kind of, do a nod and no, and then shift the conversation otherwise. But I want to make sure I greet everybody. It's good to see you, Uncle, Bobo, I don't know, whoever it may be. And I'm not saying that that's always easy, but if you have prepped answers, then, and already knowing how to answer. And as a therapist, I'm working with people to be prepared. Because when you walk in and you feel like you're going to be blindsided, that's when it's difficult to really face things, because you feel like you're a deer in headlights. But if I already know you're going to ask me how I'm doing, and I got a question, I got an answer for it, I'm going to just tell you I'm doing well. Got it. If you ask me further, I'm going to just say I prefer, I got my prepped answer. I already know what I want to say. Then it doesn't catch me so off guard, and I know how to respond, and I'm in control of the information that I share or not share. How have you been doing since your husband passed away? Or how you been doing since your sibling passed away? I'm hurting. I mean, I've been up and you can say that I'm up, however you want to answer. I'm up and down, but I'm glad to be here around family. I would love to, to eat or talk about him, or whatever you feels that will help serve you. Because as we talked about in our last episode, it's okay to talk about this loved one that's no longer present. If the ones who are deceased, because majority of our family members are hurting as well, and probably trying to avoid, we've been talking about the empty chair, trying to avoid talking about them. But maybe the healing is that we need to talk about them. Yes, I miss my sibling, I miss my cousin, or whoever the person may be. And you can make it where it's a fun conversation where you're not sitting there like sobbing, like it's a whole nother funeral. But it can be like, oh, remember when they did that? And we've talked about family members in a joyful manner of talking about really nice holidays. And I say that because I have a couple of family members, again, that has passed away this year that won't be at the holiday gatherings. But I don't mind talking about the love and joy that they brought to my life. And again, I'm not saying that everybody has to be that way, but I will tell you, with all that I'm saying, I'm going to pause tonight. But with regards to asking all them questions, I want you to write down 3 questions that someone may ask you about whatever, whether it's how you're doing or your job, you losing weight, or you're dating somebody yet, those kind of making statements, assuming, oh, you don't want to date nobody. Well, no, you're making statements, assuming. That's not what I said. Oh, okay, y'all broke. Oh, he cheated, didn't he? No, you're making statements, assuming, like the song says, not at all. So when you write those questions out and you can prepare yourself for a few, those questions and having some answers, it will help you to navigate your interactions with family members anytime, not just the holidays, but anytime. And it helps you stay in control, again, of your information, your emotions, because you know what you're going to give out and not give out. Thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful for you with asking all them questions. And hopefully, if you are the family member or the person that generally asks all them questions, please be mindful and empathetic of people who may really have a hard time talking about things. Or if you really are concerned, pull them to the side. I'll call you later and talk to you. Let's not use an open celebration forum to put them on the spot in front of everybody and then ask all them questions. If you have questions, again, about our services, you can go to our website at www.intimeccs.com, intimeccs.com, and get all of our information about our services, what insurances we take, etc. We hope that we have been helpful here on this Drama is Life when we're trying to figure out what's going on with the empty chair, the second one. Have a great holiday, you all. Hopefully, you have a peaceful holiday, and I will see you on our next episode. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that. All of that. See you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.